We have reconvened from closed session. I would like to note that all council members are now at the meeting. Councilman Hargrove is with us on the telephone. So I will ask for a flag salute. Councilman Lucio, would you like to lead us in the flag salute?
Would you please stand, put your right hand over your heart, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we have one ceremonial this evening, and that is the presentation of the 2019 Spirit of Achievement Award to Dennis Yates. As many of you know, we unfortunately had to cancel our normal in-person State of the City for 2020 as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. Had the COVID-19 pandemic not succeeded or not occurred, the 2019 awards would have been announced at the 2020 State of the City event. Despite the cancellation, the council and myself knew that it was imperative that we continue our tradition of naming the recipient of the Spirit of Achievement Award, which recognizes those long-standing community leaders who have dedicated themselves to serving the Chino community. So for 2019, I'm proud to announce that the Spirit of Achievement Award recipient is former council member and mayor Dennis Yates. Dennis was first elected to the City Council in 1992 and served as mayor from 2004 to 2016. Unfortunately, Dennis was unable to join us this evening, but he is watching from home. So now I'd like to direct your attention to a special video celebrating Dennis's achievement. A commitment to family and community is at Chino's core. From the dairy and farming migrants that settled here to today's multi-generational neighborhoods where grandparents push strollers and walk their grandkids to school, Chino's past, present, and future are centered around the well-being of our youth and the flourishing of family. The Spirit of Achievement Award is given to an exemplary person whose dedication and passion for Chino has helped make it what it is, one of the top places for young families to live, a multicultural and multi-generational community committed to ensuring that today's youth are ready to rise to the challenge as tomorrow's leaders. And what better way to inspire our youth than to model hard work, integrity, passionate community involvement, foresight, and leadership. It is my great pleasure to announce that Dennis Yates is the recipient of Chino's Spirit of Achievement Award. Dennis moved to Chino in 1982 and has left an indelible mark on this city since. He's a veteran that served in Vietnam, a retired thrifty drugstore executive, a husband, father, and a grandfather, and avid outdoorsman. Like most true leaders, he didn't set out to lead, he set out to make a difference, and what a difference he has made. As mayor, Dennis bestowed this award on many of the individuals whose names appear on the Spirit of Achievement plaque. This year, it's his name that will be engraved onto the statue in front of City Hall that welcomes visitors and memorializes the residents who invested their hearts and time into our community. Dennis has lived in Chino for 38 years. Within that 38 years, he served on our council for 24 years and was mayor for 12 of those 24 years.
Well, the reason I ran for office, I was kind of talked into it by one of the council members, Dick Sawhill, who was running for mayor against Eunice Shiloh, our present mayor. Thank God she won. But, that's how I became running for council.
Dennis has close ties to Chino's football programs, beginning as a parent, volunteer, and then as a coach for Pop Warner. But he volunteered in youth programs throughout the city and was the announcer for Chino Track and Field for many years.
Well, because of my youngest son, he wanted to play Pop Warner football here in Chino. And they had a great program, and so I signed him up and stayed with him for 5 years as he went through the age groups. And when he left, I stayed. I became president of the league and got involved with the track meets going on in the city, and stayed with them.
The Youth Museum is Dennis's brainchild. He and his family used to visit the Youth Museum in San Luis Obispo, and he'd come home and say, "This is what we need in Chino. A place of discovery and play that reflects and supports our strong sense of community and appreciation for local history."
Well, the Chino Youth Museum, my wife and my grandkids used to go up to San Luis Obispo, and they have a great youth museum up there. And so I knew all the stuff they were doing. They had participation by the kids, and it was really a nice facility they had up there. And that building where it's in now, downtown Chino, was an excellent place to put it, and convinced the council and the mayor we ought to put that in, and everybody jumped on board. So that's how we got it open, and it turned out to be a real favorable thing for our community.
Dennis has a knack for looking ahead and laying groundwork for what's to come. He knows that to get anywhere, you have to take the first step. And while he was on the council, he led us to take many first steps.
We worked hard on the master plan. And the master plan is how the community is to be laid out, and how, as we grew, how those sections would grow up with us. And we always stayed pretty tight to the general plan. And again, we were so lucky to have people on our council that were so great, and the city staff. I mean, never seen nothing like it in the other cities. We were just blessed.
Dennis, the entire community of Chino, especially the kids that have grown up here, owe you a debt of gratitude for having the foresight and commitment to create public spaces for recreation and education.
It was always a privilege to be on our council. We had great council members, a great mayor, great city manager, great city attorney. I mean, we were just blessed to be on that. I was blessed to be on that council. We all got along. We didn't fight and carry on like some city councils we knew. But it was a real pleasure to be on that city council. And we got a lot of stuff done. We kept moving forward with the master plans, and the city was growing, and we were annexing the old ag preserve where the dairies were. So it's been quite a journey, and I think everything went off so smoothly. It was a great thing to be participating in.
I am also proud to announce that the renovated football field at Ayala Park will now be named Yates Field in recognition of your dedication to Chino and Chino's youth programs. Thank you for creating a legacy that we can all be proud of. Oh, that brought back a lot of good memories. Missed that guy. Okay, I would now like to ask our attorney to give us a report out of closed session.
And held a discussion on the only item listed on the closed session agenda, namely conference with real property negotiator concerning the property that is described on the agenda by the various APN numbers, with the negotiating parties being Majestic Realty Company, Orange County Flood Control District, and the City of Chino. Under negotiation are price and terms of a lease and/or purchase of property. The City Council received an update, provided direction, and no further reportable action was taken on that matter. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, thank you very much. City Manager Ballantyne, do we have any additions or changes to our agenda?
Mayor, I have no changes to the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, at this time, we have our public announcements. First, I'd like everyone in the Preserve to know that this Thursday, February 4th, 2021, we will have Preserve office hours where all Preserve residents can engage with social distancing measures in place with our city staff and police personnel on any matters of concern. The office hours will occur from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Preserve Community Center located at 15800 Main Street. For all questions, please call our administration department at 909-334-3304. Also, I'd like to give one last reminder for folks to come out to the 21st Annual Run for Russ Memorial 5K Run and Community Walk event this Saturday, February 6th at the Civic Center. This event honors the life of Chino police officer Russ Miller, who was tragically struck and killed by a drunk driver in the line of duty on February 1st, 2000. Those interested in being part of this outstanding event can register early or participate virtually by paying $30 or pay $35 if registering on the day of the event. Groups of 10 or more will be $25 each, and those 12 years old or younger will only be charged $20. Of course, to ensure social distancing, everyone's safety, participants will be able to begin the race between 8 and 8:30 a.m. Masks will be required until participants begin the race, and there will be no food or water available to participants during or after the race. For more information, please visit https://racewire.com/athletes and search for the Run for Russ 2021. And finally, I'd like to recognize Diana Marie Vanacek for being awarded the February 2021 Mayor's Home Beautification Award. And staff is showing the picture on the TV. Because of your dedicated work and pride in home ownership, you have helped make Chino a more protective and attractive place to work, live, and enjoy. Thank you for all your hard work and everything that you do. And of course, Diana will be given our usual Chino Home Beautification sign and the other items normally presented. Okay, next on our agenda is public communication. Now is the time and the place for the general public to address the council on items that do not appear elsewhere. Due to Brown Act council policy, we can't act on anything that's not on the agenda, but we'd be glad to hear your concerns. Our first written request to speak is Dustin Harrison. He's going to provide us with an invocation. He comes from Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley. I'd like to ask all of you to stand who would like to participate.
Thank you.
Dustin.
Join me as I pray. Lord, I lift the mayor to you, the entire council, Lord, their families, the staff, Lord, and I just pray that you would bless them and keep them. Lord, I pray for your wisdom as they govern, Lord, as they decide on issues that for the betterance of our community. Lord, I thank you that I've had the privilege of growing up here in Chino and continue to work and serve here in Chino. And Lord, I just pray that you would continue to watch over the little ones, Lord, to the older ones, Lord, and that as the meeting progresses, Lord, that in all the issues that are at hand, Lord, that you would give wisdom and discernment in all the decision making. And Lord, we just thank you. Watch over our first responders, bless them and keep them and their families. And Lord, just continue to further this community, Lord. We're so thankful for it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Dustin. Okay. I have a written request to speak from Adam Garcia. Adam?
Madam Mayor, City Council, good evening. I addressed the City Council on December 2nd regarding the reopening of Chino businesses and the prevention of further shutdowns being imposed by Governor Newsom. Not much was done to prevent those actions by the governor, and as a result, thousands of people became unemployed during the holiday season. I hope my words today will incite a response from this city council, however. For the purpose of this address, I believe it is important to note my profession as it speaks to my level of credibility. I am 41 years old and have been a police officer for 19 years. During my career, I have worked a variety of assignments, most of which were dedicated to special problem details to help reduce crime in our most troubled areas. I'm here today to bring attention to the rapidly growing violence and safety concerns that are sweeping across California and the horrible policies that are placing every single one of its residents at risk. Several weeks ago, my officers and I responded to a radio call of a restraining order violation. The suspect in this case was the victim's ex-boyfriend. The day after the suspect's release from prison, he broke into the home of his ex-girlfriend and physically assaulted her. The victim's son was home at the time of the incident and was able to stop the attack. Fortunately, several of my units were in close proximity to the call and were able to take the suspect into custody. The victim asked why this man was released from prison early. That is a good question. The thick stack of papers I hold in my hand are not a Hollywood screenplay. It is the arrest record of the same man who broke into this woman's house and assaulted her. This 42-year-old man has been arrested 28 times. 16 of those arrests were for felony crimes. Those crimes range from drug possession, felony domestic violence, gang member possession of a firearm, armed robbery, and rape. The suspect in this case was currently serving time for possession of narcotics and a firearm while on parole. So again, why was this man released from prison? The answer is simple, yet it's disturbing. Under Governor Newsom, men like this are often released from prison because he classifies them as nonviolent offenders. What is even more disturbing, over the past year, Governor Newsom has been quietly releasing thousands of inmates from prisons throughout the state. He is doing so without any threat assessment and with complete disregard for the safety of Californians. The term nonviolent offender is a phrase people like Gavin Newsom and new LA District Attorney George Gascon like to use often. They want you to believe these individuals do not pose a risk to the safety of the public, but those of us in law enforcement know this is a flat-out lie. In the summer of 2009, a young woman was kidnapped in my division. The suspect in this case had a lengthy arrest record, but would be considered a nonviolent offender by Gavin Newsom standards. Despite numerous arrests and parole violations, the suspect was granted parole once more and released back into society. Not long after his release, this nonviolent offender kidnapped a 17-year-old girl, took her to the Skid Row area of downtown Los Angeles, beat her violently, then cut her throat with a broken glass bottle. I don't like having to share the details of this young woman's murder, but I do so because the gravity of the situation must not be taken lightly. Although these two incidents occurred 45 miles west of here, I must remind you all, criminals and the violence they inflict do not stop at county lines. Crimes like these can and will take place anywhere. California has become a safe haven for criminals. Violence is skyrocketing, and criminals are well aware that they can commit crimes with little to no consequence. It is not uncommon for suspects to be released from custody on the same day of their arrest and sometimes back on the streets before officers have even completed their reports. This rise in crime and the escalating threat to California residents is a direct result of the failed policies put in place by Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom has failed California. His response to the COVID-19 crisis has caused thousands of people to lose their jobs, homes, and businesses. He exploited millions of dollars from the Paycheck Protection Program. He destroyed the city of San Francisco and is now releasing thousands of criminals without any regard to public safety. How much more can California tolerate? I am asking each of you here today to join our efforts to recall Gavin Newsom as governor of California. If we fail to act now, criminals like this will plague our neighborhoods. The violence they will inflict will become so common, it won't even be newsworthy. It'll just be another day in California. Supporters of Gavin Newsom will suggest I'm a disgruntled Republican looking to get back at the Democratic Party with this recall effort. Let me be perfectly clear. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm an American. But I'm also a police officer, and as a police officer, I swore an oath to defend the lives and property of others. I have no political agenda here, just an obligation to my oath. My fellow brothers and sisters in law enforcement are doing all we can to protect the people of California, but this mass release of inmates and soft on crime policies are becoming overwhelming and destroying our ability to keep our community safe. I often hear people say, I know police officers have a difficult job. I always push back when I hear this because until you put on a badge, you will never know what this job is like. People will never understand the horrible violence and predators we shield them from, but we will not be able to shield them much longer if Gavin Newsom remains in office. Ladies and gentlemen, California is on the clock and our time is running out. I truly believe if we lose this recall effort, we will lose California. Gavin Newsom has played politics with the lives of Californians long enough, and he must be stopped. We must protect the people of California. I ask all of you here today and to those watching at home to do your part and sign the petition. Gavin Newsom must be recalled as governor of California. I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Al. And we are well aware of the impact of these prisoners.
We're doing our best, ma'am.
Yeah, I know you are, and our officers are as well.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay, those are the only two written requests to speak that I have. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council on any item not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none. Angela, do we have anyone on the line that would like to address the council? No, Mayor, we do not. Okay, then we will move on to the consent calendar. Do any council members wish to have any items removed? Okay, seeing none, then I would entertain a voice motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lucio
I'll second the motion.
and second from Councilman Flores. Angela, roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Lucio,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Comstock,
Yes.
Councilmember Hargrove,
Yes.
Mayor Ulloa.
Yes. Okay, the consent calendar passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is the mayor and council reports. I'm going to go through mine rather quickly. January 20th, Wednesday, I virtually attended the mayor's prayer breakfast and the Omnitrans workshop. Thursday, January 21st, all of these were virtual except for a few, virtually attended the Water Facilities Authority Board of Directors, and I was selected to be on the technical committee. Attended the Water Master Advisory Committee and the Recharge Investigation and Projects Committee. And then I attended the quarterly Fire District and City of Chino meeting with Mayor Pro Tem Lucio, City Manager Ballantyne, Fire Chief Shackelford, Director Ramos Evinger, and Director Krieger, where we discussed many items of mutual concern. Tuesday, January 26th, I virtually attended the West Valley Mosquito and Vector Control Board of Directors meeting. Wednesday, the 27th, we all attended the Planning Commission and City Council joint workshop where we reviewed the Sphere of Influence Economic Analysis documents. City Manager Ballantyne is going to summarize the actions coming out of that workshop and the next steps that we'll be taking. On Thursday, January 28th, I virtually attended the League of California Cities, Inland Empire, and Desert Mountain Regions informal meet and greet. Virtually attended the Water Master Board of Directors and virtually attended the Chino DeSalter Authority Finance Committee. And then on Friday the 29th, virtually attended the Southern California Water Coalition quarterly meeting. Almost everything is virtual now. It's interesting. It does save you travel time, but you just don't have the same interaction as if you actually get to see people. Councilmember Comstock. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. It's been a challenge attending all these meetings virtually, but is also serving its purpose. So I want to start off by thanking Adam for his comments tonight. One of the things that the City Council for a long time and during my professional career has always placed as a priority is public safety. And that's also why we, during this last trend, did not, defund the police department. And it's, part of my life's work. I'm proud of the work of the men and women of the Chino Police Department and the fine police department we have here. And not just the sitting council that's here, but some of these senior members of the council, but prior council members who really put forward a good public safety component with both the police and fire while funding the rest of the city appropriately. So thank you, Adam, for your comments. And I can understand your frustration. I share it with you. I also attended the ethics training. I'm sorry, not the ethics training, but the joint sphere of influence meeting with the mayor. I also attended the school board meeting virtually, as well as some training from the League of California Cities, virtually as a newly elected council member. And that was some very, very good training that the league hosted for us, and I was happy to be a member of it. Mayor, I want to congratulate you on the video that you did for past Mayor Yates. That's a great video and a great selection for the Spirit of Achievement Award. Dennis has certainly done a lot for this community. I know he's probably very, very proud to receive that, that recognition from you. Also, for this community for keeping the Russ Miller's memory alive and well by hosting that run here. For those of us that knew Russ, and I worked with him, that was a hard loss on the day that he lost his life to that drunken driver. And it's just been so nice for the community to keep his memory alive. And then, last thing I'd like to talk about is it's Black History Month. And I always like to take the opportunity to celebrate the diversity of the city of Chino. And while it would be impossible for us to properly acknowledge the contributions of the Black community, not just to our community, but to our nation in 1 month, it certainly is nice to take the time to acknowledge all the great things that these Americans have done to advance not just this community but our nation. So it's nice to recognize them this month, but certainly all year long, with their contributions. With that concludes my comments tonight, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Lucio.
Yes, I also want to piggyback off of Councilmember Comstock's comments. Adam, we appreciate you coming in here. Obviously, unfortunately, people have to be reminded over and over that some of these laws and things that they pass or the people that they put in office, they talk about these agendas, but I don't think people really realize what that agenda truly means. I think Gascon, when he came in, there isn't anything that he's doing that he didn't say he was going to do. And I think people didn't realize what that really meant. And I think people are starting to realize that now, unfortunately. It's costing a lot of people to get shot. A lot of people are getting injured. Crime is growing, not just based on his policies, but on the policies and the rules and the regulations of Prop 47 and all the other amendments that were changed to the local laws. And of course, what the governor is doing. So I think people need to realize that this is going to have an impact, not just in LA County, and it's going to have an impact in San Bernardino County and the rest of the state. So I appreciate you coming in and highlighting that for everybody to hear, so it's not just the same people saying it over and over again. I, too, on the 21st of January, attended the Fire City Quarterly meeting with the mayor. On the 26th, I attended the Infrastructure Committee meeting, which was there's some exciting things that are going to be happening for the city. So there's going to be some construction going on, but I think at the end, it's going to be for the benefit of the city. We also did everybody attended the Joint City Council Planning Commission Sphere of Influence. If you weren't able to see it online, there's a lot of information there. It has the potential of really making the city grow quite a bit if everything goes through. But there's a lot of things in there that we're in the beginning stages of talking about. But there's going to be other workshops coming up, so I encourage the community to come out and participate in it so that they're aware of it. And then I also want to remind everybody that this Saturday is the Run for Us. We'll be out there. I don't know if me and my wife are going to run, but we might do the walk portion of it. But we will be participating. And then also Super Bowl Sunday this Sunday, so everybody make sure that you celebrate that, but be responsible. And then, of course, Valentine's Day, make sure that you celebrate that with your loved one. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Flores.
Adam, I just want to thank you as well for coming out and sharing your opinion on the entire matter. When I hear that, one thing that comes to my mind is just our young generation. I think a big reason why I ran for the city council position was to reach out to our young generation, because I know it is a young generation who can significantly impact who is in office in a couple of years. But again, I've never met you, but thank you for sharing your comments. And again, as Mark Lucio said, it's important that the same people aren't sharing the same message repetitively. And when we have different members of the community who come out and express their opinions, I just think it's important and it's valid for council to hear and for residents to hear as well. So thank you for that. Let's see, on January 20th, I too virtually attended the mayor's prayer breakfast. I always enjoy that. On Wednesday, January 27th, I attended along with our council and our planning commission, I attended the Sphere of Influence workshop. A lot of great information there, a lot of questions that were asked that maybe questions I didn't have, and I just thought it was a good turnout. And with our staff, I appreciate them. Everything they presented and how they presented was very just efficient and professional. I think they're gonna help us. How good they work. They're making our jobs a little easier out here. And answering every question we have. January 28th and the 29th, I attended the League of California Cities Council Member Academy as well. Again, as a newly elected official, I just think it was important for me and important for the city really and for our council for me to get that extra information, extra education, and that I wouldn't have known if I wouldn't have attended. And on this past Saturday, January 30th, I was over at the Mona Vista Park, and I was kind of caught the tail end of the workshop they had over there regarding the expansion of the Mona Vista Park. I'm just excited for that project because number one, it's a local park to me, and it's just exciting for the residents because they definitely need it, and it's been a long time coming. And with that being said, this Saturday, I too will be out there for the Run for Russ, and it'll be exciting. I'm hoping I probably won't walk, I probably won't run, but I'll probably be right in the middle of both. But again, that concludes my reports, Mayor Eunice.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Hargrove. Mark?
Can you hear me?
Councilmember, are you on?
I
Okay,
don't know.
there you are.
Am I?
I hear you.
Well, good thing I don't have a report to give.
Oh. You don't have anything to add this evening?
No, well, I wouldn't say that, but not anything that's worthy of listening to.
Okay, thanks, Mark. City Manager Ballantyne.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So last Wednesday, the City Council hosted a workshop involving the city's sphere of influence. The Planning Commission was also in attendance, and we also had some residents that also listened to the discussion. For those that would like to see the workshop, the event was recorded, and so it's available online. So if you go to our webpage at cityofchino.org/SOI, you'll see the video of the workshop. In addition, there's a link for the actual study that was completed by the consultant. The results of the meeting, so the council reviewed, the consultant provided information about 4 different scenarios. And within those scenarios provided alternatives dependent upon the amount of property tax that we would receive from the idea of annexing the county portion. There was also some discussion about how vehicle license fees would impact the revenues that we would receive. The presentation was well received by the council and the community. The council did have some questions that staff's going to go out and research, specifically such things as the negotiated tax structure between the county and other cities that have annexed. That is a range of roughly 5.4% to 10.8%. And just so you know, when you look at your property tax bill, a lot of people assume all of that goes to the city, but the reality is only 10% of that tax bill actually comes to the city. So the council directed staff to go out and actually take a look at what's been negotiated between the counties and cities, because the county still has to provide some other services like emergency response and ERs, things like that. Another thing that was discussed was taking a look at the liability and claims that are received by the county, and so that we would be assuming those. So the council wanted to kind of see that data. We also have to take a look at, when we started the study, the budget. They included numbers from a previous budget, so we'll be updating that with our current budget numbers. So there's a series of information that the council has requested staff, and we're actually going out right now and collecting that data, and we'll be presenting that back to the city council. Really, the next steps is to take a look at 2 things. One is to take a look at the policy on how we want to go about annexing. There's several different scenarios, anywhere from just looking at the islands, because there's financial impacts that may be more beneficial to the city, to annexing the whole area at once or doing it in phases. So staff is going to start working on developing those policies, and we'll probably work with, we have 2 council liaisons that helps the staff with looking at policies associated with the county. We'll also be looking at the second phase is the level of service. It was mentioned that certainly we wouldn't have 100% of our services here provided in the county area. It may happen over a period of time, depending upon the revenues in which we receive. But if we were to even entertain this, we need to be abundantly clear for staff and also those residents that live in the county area of what the expectations are for the level of service. So once we come up with all these policies, we'll bring them back to the council for them to take a look at those items. And once the council kind of bless those 2 items, then we'll go out and do a survey. Because certainly we can't consider an annexation without the input of the residents that reside there or the businesses. So to that point, we are in the process of actually going out to get a consultant that would help with the survey. We just issue an RFP and request for proposals, evaluate those, and then have those folks on standby until the council's ready to go ahead and once they complete all those policy decisions, because I think there's an expectation for those county residents to have an understanding of what type of service level they would get if they were being considered for annexation. So those are kind of the next steps. Certainly we're working on those as we speak, and we will provide periodic updates to the council and the community. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you very much. Attorney Galante, do you have any report this evening?
No report, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, and Chief Police Simmons.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I just want to echo my sentiments of thank you for your support, not just for our police department, but for the memory of Russ Miller. 21 years ago, yesterday, he was struck and killed, and this community and you as a council still keep his memory alive. So thank you for that, and thank you to our community members as well. We hope to see you out there at the run on Saturday. It's gonna be different than all the other years before. There's no pancake breakfast. We're asking people participate, run, and then leave. Don't gather. But we also have challenge coins we're giving out this year to participants. So it should be a great event, whether you're doing it virtual or in person. Thank you very much.
Well, I remember Russ very well, and I remember that call.
Yeah,
When he was hit. That was just devastating. But
absolutely.
yeah, it seems like the run got bigger every year. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this year.
Absolutely, and we're going to continue on, and this year is just one of 20 other runs, and we're looking forward to run number 21 after this, so
Right.
thank you.
Thank you, Wes.
Chief, how many people are registered so far?
The last count was 400 for in-person, and we have additional numbers for virtual as well. But we also have a lot of people who are looking at the weather to see what Saturday's going to look like before they decide whether they're going to come out. And it's looking like it's going to be a great day.
Now, what's the highest count that we've
I
ever
think
had?
our highest was probably 1,200.
They're right around 1,200.
Yeah. So, but we weren't expecting this year to be huge, and in fact, we're okay if it isn't, because we want to make sure everybody abides by the social distancing and stays safe. So.
Are you still going to have the device there that actually times people?
Yes, yep. So you can start any time between 8 and 8:30, and as soon as you run through that, it'll start your time, and then when you come back through, it'll calculate how fast, and then we'll determine who the actual winners are, and we will get them their awards at a later date, because we're not going to have an award ceremony there.
Okay. When we have that list, I would like to be able to
Absolutely.
bring it to council, and we'll announce it at council also.
Absolutely, that's a great idea. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Thank you,
All right.
Wes.
Thank you.
And fire department's report.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Scott Atkins. I'm Deputy Chief of the Chino Valley Fire District. I will be running this week.
Very
this
good.
Saturday. So my whole family, in fact, we always enjoy, and we definitely give us a chance to honor the Chino Police Department and Russ Miller. I do want to share with you some interesting information. So over the past month or so, the fire department applied for the local medical authority and received permission for our firefighters to be able to deliver the vaccine. And with that, today out at the Speedway in Fontana, our chief officers and our firefighters were out there assisting in the vaccine program. It was quite an event. Over 3,500 people were expected to be there on site to receive the vaccine. At one time, if you're familiar with the actual location, that's around 4th Street in Cherry, cars were all the way back past baseline to be in line to receive the vaccine. So our staff, our firefighters are trained and are able to give the vaccines. And again, they were out there today providing vaccines to the public. Some background too about we are seeing a definite decrease in our call load regarding the peak that we had over the Christmas time, just around the end of December. So definitely an improvement there, and we're hopeful that that will continue to drop through that process. That's all I have for tonight.
Well,
Thank
stay
you.
safe. Tell all your guys to stay safe. We need them.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we will adjourn to our next regular meeting, which will be held on Tuesday, February 16th at 7 o'clock in these council chambers with closed session starting at 6 if necessary. We are adjourned.